my show had value and that, I'm sorry, that that what I was doing had value. And then it mattered. Where I land is that the moment that of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did, or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, defending books that people find inconvenient. And yes, whether it's talking about Gaza. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
Of God. Joy Reid wants you to believe that she's Mother Teresa. She's Mother Teresa / Rosa Parks, a combination of both. We are back now with Free Press columnist Batya Ungar-Sargon. There she was on Saturday, having learned her show was about to be canceled, with a group of online supporters talking about herself, again, like she was saintly. Here's the reality and an actual taste of what Joy Reid's show looked and sounded like. The following mashup put together by Tom Elliott of Grabian.
Donald Trump wants to never let black and brown folk up off the mat. It's evident what they mean by DEI, right? Why not just say what you mean? You can't stand black people. We get it. You've been heard. If you are black plus anything else, you are black. Violent white nationalism that today threatens our national security. We do have a fascist groundswell in parts of this country, mainly among white men. Let's be clear. Make your own dinner, MAGA. Make your own sandwiches. Wipe your own tears. Similarities to what happened in Germany and what's happening now in America are just undeniable. Donald Trump is acting like a Nazi, talking like a Nazi, and now posting like a Nazi. Like right-wingers were saying, get in the oven anytime you made any benign comment on Twitter. Yes, Biden is aging. He shuffles when he walks and forgets names and makes gaffes. But he's not incoherent. He can give us a prompter speech. Kamala Harris has passed the audition flawlessly. This has been, in many ways, a perfect campaign. I got into Harvard and, Yale, Vassar, and the University of Denver, too, because I had a really high GPA and fantastic SAT scores. Let me just be clear. I got into Harvard only because of affirmative action.
Okay, just one other point here. You heard her mention tears, white tears, male tears. She's got a thing about it. No, most normal people watching her cry at the beginning of that soundbite, what we did mattered, might feel a pang of sympathy for her, empathy. So they might. And then you remember who she actually was on the air. And clips like this one, which I mentioned yesterday, reacting to the Kyle Rittenhouse trial in 2021. SOT 6.
There's a thing about both white vigilantism and white tears, particularly male white tears. Really white tears in general, because that's what Karens are, right? They Karen out, and then as soon as they get caught, it's like Green Waterworks.
Yeah, right. It's white tears are fake. Kyle Rittenhouse, 18-year-old, put on trial for murder, called a white supremacist unfoundedly by the running next president of the United States. He was faking it. His white male tears, they're racist too. And white female tears are racist. And to the point where she found them so fun, she would mock them. So no, I have zero sympathy for her. None whatsoever. I revel in her termination. I will shoot those tears right into my veins. I'm going to put them on my nightside table in my glass, and I will drink them gleefully. Cry. Go. I'll watch. Am I being too hard?
I mean, the white tears meme comes from the Robin DiAngelo book, How to Be an Anti-Racist, where she says, when white people are accused of racism, they cry, and their tears are a weapon they use against black people. And it's like, no, they're crying because to be racist is to be evil, and they know they are not evil. And you are accusing them of being evil. Like, they took a thing that is a good thing about Americans, that we would rather do many unpleasant, horrible things than be accused of racism, because we are not racist, because we are good. And they use that as a sign of somehow being bad, which makes people question themselves. And that is ultimately what they wanted with this meme, was when you as a white person feel upset that you've been falsely accused of racism, you then need to question your most basic godly instincts. You can never trust your sense of right versus wrong. Only they can tell you who is right and who is wrong, who is good and who is evil. This is the most horrific, heinous thing to do. They try to re-racialize American life at a time when we have finally overcome the sins of our past. They try to create a new standard of anti-racism to give themselves power and to make a lot of money. And I am so unbelievably grateful to God and also grateful to President Trump that we are coming to a moment as Americans where this just does not work anymore, Megyn.
No, it's true. I saw in the news yesterday, Don Lemon was out there upset that I'm enjoying the Joy Reid termination, once again calling me nasty names. And really what's happening here is when one cannot generate light on one's self by oneself, they may find it fine just to bathe in the reflective light of someone else who actually is successful. That's what's really happening there. Don Lemon has no viewers. He has no listeners whatsoever. He has not been able to make it in the cable news world where he was repeatedly demoted and then fired. He was fired 2 minutes after getting hired by Elon, which should have been a lifeline to him, but he was too stupid to actually take advantage of it. And now he's too stupid to actually make it in the digital lane. So he did the one thing that he could think of to do, which was get into the press by attacking me. And now he's gotten more ink than he's gotten in the past 4 years. But he's a sad, pathetic little man who actually cannot make it in business on his own. And really at this point, thoughts and prayers, Don. Hang in there. But that's right. Joy Reid, all these race essentialists are failing because the jig is up. People see what they're doing. We're over it. The great awakening happened with Trump's reelection, and the fever has broken. That's why, yes, Joy Reid got fired. Because, Batya, I asked my team to go pull the numbers. Okay, in January, MSNBC's demo was the lowest in prime time it has ever been. Ever. Worst January ever for MSNBC. In February, it was a 28% decline in the overall numbers. So they're down 30% in February versus 2024. So they are hemorrhaging viewers still. Joy Reid's show is bad. It's a little worse than her colleagues, but it's not that much worse. It's her messaging. I absolutely believe that Brian Roberts had enough because she is being replaced by 2 Black people and a Hispanic. And I don't know Simone Sanders that well. She used to be more normal. I think she's gotten a little woker and more annoying over the years as her star's been rising on MS. But Michael Steele, while he's a never Trump Republican, he's not in Joy Reid's field when it comes to incendiary race bombs. I'm not excusing the stuff he says, but he's not. And Alicia Menendez, same. So they're definitely making a move slightly closer to normal. I don't want to say center, but slightly closer to like the bounds of normal conversation by axing her because they know the country's over it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough for them because, I mean, the truth is because 96% of journalists are Democrats, if you're a Democrat, right, you want to understand the moment. You want to understand how you lost. You want to understand why so many of your fellow Americans voted for a person that you maybe, let's say, believe even because you were told by the media is literally Hitler, right? No conservatives have to wonder how Democrats see things, right? We are constantly bombarded with it. It's everywhere. It is inescapable. And so I think for a lot of Democrats who, maybe don't like Trump, but love this country, I'm talking about Democratic voters, they are turning now to Fox News, to the Megyn Kelly Show, to a host of conservative media outlets because they want to understand what happened. And they know they are not going to get that from the people who spent 10 years calling Trump literally Hitler. And so honestly, the only thing I think that could save MSNBC right now or CNN is for them to seriously invest in bringing on conservatives, because I think that is what Americans want to hear. They're sick of the divisiveness. They're sick of the polarization. They're sick of people getting rich off of trying to get us to hate our neighbors. They want to hear how the other side thinks so they can make an informed decision. They want the temperature brought down, and they want to see people having civil debates. That's what I believe.
We continue to face uncertainty when it comes to the economy, with a perfect storm brewing as Social Security and Medicare hit a breaking point as the largest generation is hitting retirement. A smaller workforce means a smaller tax base. You pair that with our growing national debt and rising cost of living, and we could have a big problem. So what are you doing now to protect your family for the future? Well, gold can be a safe haven in hard economic times, and Birch Gold makes it easy to diversify a portion of your savings into physical gold. Birch Gold will help you transition an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and it does not cost you 1 cent out of pocket. Protect your future today. Text MK to 989898 and get your free info kit on gold and a copy of the Ultimate Guide for Gold in the Trump Era with a foreword by Donald Trump Jr. There's no obligation, just information. Birch Gold has earned the trust of countless Americans looking to safeguard their savings. Just text my initials MK to the number 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.